How's it going? My name's Josh, and I'm out of coffee. That sucks. You want to follow me while I roast some beans? I'll teach you how to do it, tell you what I'm doing, tell you why I'm doing it. It's pretty easy. Let's get started. If you're going to roast beans at home, you need at least two things. One, an electric popcorn popper. This is a Poppo brand. I got this from sweetmarias.com. It doesn't have to be Poppo brand. Any popper will work. They're fairly inexpensive. What's cool about this one though, from Sweet Maria's, is that they include this metal sleeve that has a baffle inside. This baffle ensures that the hot air flowing through the popcorn popper agitates and turns over the coffee beans consistently, ensuring a nice, even roast on all of your beans, which I think is important. It's not necessary, but I like it. Second thing we'll need, obviously, is green coffee beans. As you can see, I got these from Sweet Maria's as well. Put them in my own container. This is their 10-speed blend. I've never roasted it before. We're going to do it today for the first time. I use an espresso machine, so I'm going to go pretty dark. Let's go to the kitchen and get this process started.
The main limitation to roasting coffee beans at home is the small batch size. With the Poppo, I find that roasting 100 grams at a time is the sweet spot. Any more than this, as the beans get lighter, lose moisture, and expand, they take up too much space in the chamber and they start getting spit out. Too little and they roast too fast, and it's harder to control and it's harder to be consistent. So 100 grams every time for about the same amount of time guarantees that I get consistency in my roasts. Here you'll see I also have a small fan and a wire mesh strainer. Those are going to come in handy later, but for now, let's get these beans in the popper and get it turned on. Green coffee beans have a higher moisture content than roasted beans. Therefore, they're heavier. They're actually a little smaller as well. As these beans roast and lose moisture, they're going to expand and get lighter, filling this chamber almost completely full with jumping coffee beans. Here you see the constant motion and rotation that is so important for consistency. If these beans weren't moving around, just the ones on the bottom would get roasted and the ones on the top would stay light. Right about now, you may be seeing all these little bits of debris flying around. That is called chaff. Every green coffee bean is covered with a thin husk called silver skin. As the bean heats up, it comes flying off the bean, and it does make a mess. The best way that I have found to prevent this mess is to turn on my vacuum cleaner and just hold it at the opening of the popcorn popper. All the chaff is sucked into the vacuum, and I avoid the mess on the counters. Chaff can be a real problem because it is a fire hazard and it can clog the bottom of the popcorn popper's air intake. Watch as these coffee beans turn from green to yellow to brown, and listen for first crack. Notice that the bean level has risen in the chamber, almost covering the baffle now. They are getting much larger and hotter. Did you hear it? First crack. It is unmistakable and loud. Don't worry, you won't miss it. You'll know when a first crack is going on. I find that the process of first crack lasts for about a minute to 2 minutes. Afterward, the cracking will stop and you'll get very little chaff coming off the beans. The end of first crack means you are squarely in medium roast territory, often called city or even city plus in roasting terms. Medium roast is good for pour over, drip coffee, and French press, but since I'm pulling espresso shots, I want it to be a little bit darker. So let's keep going and wait for what they call second crack. Now that I have the lid off, you can more clearly see what's going on in here. The coffee beans are now fully roasted and expanded, completely covering the baffle. Any more than 100 grams and they would be flying all over the place. Now let's listen for second crack. Here it comes. With second crack underway, I clean up any shaft that got by me from first crack. Second crack signifies the beginning of a dark roast bean, and referred to as full city. I went full city plus for this batch, which is good for espresso. So let's get these beans turned off and cooled down to end the roasting process. I dump the beans into the mesh strainer, and I shake them over the fan to cool the beans as soon as possible. Roasting coffee beans causes carbon dioxide to build up inside of the bean. This carbon dioxide needs to off-gas before you can prepare the coffee for consumption. This means that it's going to have to rest. After 24 hours, you're good to go for a pour-over, French press, or drip coffee. But when it comes to espresso machines, I like to let it rest at least a week. Alright, like I said, super easy. Hope you liked the video. Please like and subscribe. Talk to you later. See you next week. We're going to grind it, pull it, see how it tastes.